everybody, and welcome to the Turnbuckle Tavern on YouTube. Today, I am your co-host, Thomas Montalto, the OG Fig Kid, and with me, I have J Bone from the Coming Down the Aisle podcast. Welcome, J Bone. What's going on?
Hey, Thomas, what's up, man? I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for letting me come on and talk about some wrestling, baby.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's discuss today about Roman Reigns and the crowds coming back, and we're going to start off with what do you think's going to happen with the crowds when crowds are there for Roman? We haven't seen a true crowd reaction to him other than WrestleMania. So what do you think's going to happen?
I'm glad. Interesting enough that I'm glad we're talking about this because next week on the show, we're gonna actually break down Roman Reigns versus John Cena. Just kind of happen to have that, but I was actually speaking with my guest last week and kind of trying to pick her brain on this a little bit, but I personally think that he will get cheered. And just basically, first of all, you're going to have the kids who be like, oh, I remember whenever Roman, those who are, of course, you're a little younger, they're going to still love Roman. The women, of course, he has a great woman following as well. But
my wife.
But then the smarks, right? The smarks like you and I, who kind of, I guess, clamored for this heel Roman for so long. I personally, whenever he was babyface Roman, I loved him. I wasn't a Roman hater.
Actually, I wasn't either.
Yeah, and I loved him. I loved his work. But the smarts are going to be very excited to see a heel Roman live. It'll be something different for them. So I personally think he's going to get cheered. I know WWE's wishing, they're probably that he gets booed or something along those lines. But I don't know. I think he's going to get cheered.
I think he's going to get cheered too, but I think it gives him the chance to cut an epic promo.
Right.
Where he comes out and he just starts, now you're going to cheer me?
Yep.
Do you think I need you? Where were you when I won the Royal Rumble?
Right.
Where were you when I main evented WrestleManias? Mm-hmm. And now you want to cheer me? Even go as far as saying, like, you gave me the sympathy cheer when I had my leukemia back.
Right.
I don't need you all.
Right.
Like how awesome of a promo can he do if it's done right?
Yeah.
He could instantly get them to turn on him.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that because I had the same idea. He can actually use the term acknowledge me. Now you want to acknowledge me?
Exactly.
Just kind of, as you said, I won Royal Rumble. Now you want to acknowledge me? I beat Triple H in WrestleMania 32. Now you want to acknowledge me?
Like you embarrassed me when my cousin came out after the Royal Rumble. That's the way you treated me, and now you want me to be there for you. Now you're acknowledging me.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I think Paul Heyman will be a very important tool. Now he's kind of used as a side piece a little bit, but I think if he is cheered. Of course, this could go a couple different ways. If he's cheered, they're going to try to do work to turn and, change that psychology around. Or they could just do nothing. And, well, he's cheered, so he's got a reaction. Well, who cares, right? Basically how they did when he was a babyface. But it is booed. I think Paul Heyman's going to be very important. I would keep him off television completely, Once you have crowd reaction, you get them come back. You see what it is. You plan for this. All right. All right. So they're cheering. Maybe then the next show you come back with him with a cutting, maybe that epic promo, like you said, and then you take him off TV till maybe 2 weeks before SummerSlam or something. Like I'm not. Just be like I'm not here for this. I'm gonna have my advocate. I'm going to have my advocate, Paul Heyman. He's going to be here. You're not going to see your Universal Champion. So build that Money in the Bank. Just really build it hardcore around, both the ladder matches and the WWE Championship match. And not even have a Universal title match. Just wait till SummerSlam. So.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I do like that. You mentioned about John Cena coming back to face him, and I don't want to get too into it because you said you're going to be talking about it on your podcast. But if
Mm-hmm.
they're just coming back to feed Cena to him, I don't want that. I really don't want that.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
already saw that. You know, Cena put
yeah.
him over once. I don't think doing it again is really. What's that going to do? What story does it build at this point?
I agree, and there's two parts of me that this is where it kind of separates on the booking for me. I think it would be good for Roman to keep the title because then he's the boring champion, right? Does that kind of help out with some of that heat, or continue get that heat because then fans are like, oh, it's so boring. Well, why can't we have another champion? I mean, look at basically that's what AEW is doing right now with Kenny Omega, right? I mean, we're kind of getting to that point where people are like, oh, I'm so sick of Kenny being champion, but I think it's good. That's a good aspect. But you're right. Then, or you can have John beat him. We know WWE is very corporate, so having someone like John Cena flash that title during his red carpet premieres and whatever else he's got going on, that would be really awesome for them to have. And then at the same time, just keep Roman off TV. Just keep him off TV. So it depends on how they're going to go, how they're going to build to WrestleMania. I do think that's the only piece that they're really focused on is what they're going to do with Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
um, so
I mean,
I don't know.
I like what they've done with him. I kind of don't want to see Cena come in and beat him either because I like what they're building towards.
Mhm.
Whatever it is. So let Cena come back and let him go to Raw. Raw needs him more than SmackDown anyway. So, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
here's this thing I'm kind of noticing, and I haven't really seen this talked about anywhere. But they've built up Roman on SmackDown. He can't be beat. He's on a run. But over on Raw, you have Lashley, who's also built up into this beast who can't be beat.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I'm just seeing that they're building up slowly to putting them on a collision course. You have two guys dominating their brand, and eventually, I hope, and I'm not talking Survivor Series non-title, you got to have them fight, and I'm hoping this is what they're building towards, and then you combine the titles. And you have Roman go over Lashley at that point.
I've always been a fan of having one world title. I mean,
I agree.
Even one secondary title. Well, I don't know. I think it's good. You can have a United States and an Intercontinental, and then one
I want
having
one.
one tag team champion. One of course one women's champion. I mean, what doesn't make sense. I mean, it does because they don't have a whole lot of women tag teams, but they only have one women's tag team championship.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's like it puts I don't know it makes that I think it devalues it a little bit, because you have all these other double champions.
Oh yeah, I
So
agree. I agree.
and I know we're kind of getting off track here, but I think one world champion is where you need to be at without a doubt, and it gives a loves them life, and then you don't book yourself in a corner because honestly, on Raw and SmackDown, both of them, they're kind of in this corner and like, okay, who's the next challenger? Now, I know Raw's got, of course, they got Kofi right now, but SmackDown's not really clear. Who are you going to put him besides, of course, John Cena? But I mean, we know that's going to probably happen. But who's going to be the next challenger, right? We're not really seeing that. There's not really anybody that could challenge Roman that I could see. Maybe a Nakamura, but that would be the only thing, that I could actually see that somebody going up and challenging Roman.
I just want to keep seeing these guys like Nakamura, who I've been hoping he would get a good push for years, just be fed to him now.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. You're gonna have to, but you're gonna have guys like that to extend the storyline out because, and I don't know if you want to get into it now, but we're gonna get into WrestleMania at some point. Who does he face at WrestleMania?
his
Is it
cousin.
Rock? Is it Seth Rollins?
Hey, I
they
love
kind
what
of like tease with it. So
I like the tease they're doing with
Hmm.
Seth because it's finally feels like they're doing a slow build with that. Like
It
everything
does.
always seems so rushed anymore, but
Right.
now they're just giving little teasers, and I love the fact that like Seth thinks they're cool, and you just see Roman looking at him like, what the?
Yeah. No.
But
No.
that's like,
No.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
Roman is probably, I mean, SmackDown is probably the best thing on SmackDown. No, not probably. He is. I
Yeah.
shouldn't say probably. He's the best thing in WWE right now. I
Yeah.
actually been enjoying Raw more than SmackDown the last few weeks. I feel like they're starting to book it a little different, as you obviously saw by this week with the
Hmm.
qualifying matches. Like who
Hmm.
expected Ricochet, John Morrison, and Riddle to go beat who they beat? Like that's a sign that maybe they're finally
Right.
starting to see, hey, we need to do something to give back to the fans who have been here for a while. But anyway, do you agree? Do you think like the way they're building Lashley and Roman that they could possibly be building towards that?
Um. Yes and no. I mean, I mean, yes, I could definitely see it, but I think, I don't think WWE wants to pull the plug on a double championship, and here's the reason why.
Okay.
As much as I think it would be good, couple reasons why. They love the term WWE Universe. Okay, they love the Universal Championship. They love that's the main title. Let's be frank, right? Um,
Do you think that's
and
the main title?
I would say so. I would say so.
Ooh,
Now,
okay.
the next thing I'm about to say is the WWE Championship, which is why they're not going to necessarily dump it off the wayside, has a lineage going all the way back to Bruno Sammartino.
Yep.
Actually, not actually in front of that, Buddy Rogers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it has that lineage. So there's no way they're going to dump that on the wayside. So that's why I don't think there's going to be a collision course where it's going to be title for title. Because what are you going to do? You're going to have they're going to be the Universal and WWE Championship. Now we're back in 2014, or Chris Jericho, where he's holding both these titles and he's an undisputed title. I Unless you just do that as an undisputed title, that was the only way I could really see it. I don't know.
I mean, if you look at it though, to me, with two titles, it's so meaningless. Like all the title runs mean less when you have one. It's just really. I know they call it separate brands, but really all it is two different TV shows. So you have a title for two
Mhm.
different TV shows.
Right.
The separate brand is NXT. Like in my opinion, like I don't really feel
Yes.
like Raw and
Yes.
SmackDown are separate brands.
Right.
So
Yeah, I feel like it's WWE and NXT.
yeah, I do. Like so
Yeah.
it's time to combine both shows again, like to combine the rosters and have
Mhm.
just don't use everybody every single week. Less is more. Like you go back to the '80s when Hogan never wrestled on TV other than like Saturday night's main event, or he might fight Sajabra every 6 months on Superstars or Challenge.
Right.
It wasn't very often at all. And then you start doing that, and people will turn into the bigger events because you want to see the
Mhm.
champion. Less is more. Like he could come and cut his promos, put him in a tag team match every so often. They did that to start combating Nitro. It's not really needed anymore,
Mhm. Right.
in my opinion. So.
Well, you say that, but who's to say AEW does it? The way they've kind of been growing, fans,
But
and
AEW is doing it more than WWE with less is more.
yeah,
How often do you see Kenny Omega wrestling on TV?
no, yeah, you don't
Once
see
a
him
month.
much, right? Right,
So
yeah. Well, but I guess what I'm saying is, who's to say we don't have another Monday Night Wars or something like that again? You know,
yeah, you're right. I hope so.
with these crowds coming back, and then particularly what I'm interested in is, and I know we're off subject here, but
That's fine.
AEW going to be in New York City. What that's going to look like, and I think that could be a potential. And funny enough, that show, okay, is going to be on September 22nd. September 22nd. I'm okay. You're like me. I'm a brainiac. Comes to stuff is very important in the Attitude Era. So September 22nd, you had the infamous Stone Cold Stun McMahon on Raw, and on Nitro you had Goldberg debut.
Wow.
So that's always stuck with me. I'm like,
Wow.
September 22nd. But
How do you
anyway,
remember the date?
I'm a psychopath. I'm a psychopath. That's how. I'm good at dates and stuff. So,
Oh my god. So is
but
my wife.
I mean, I could rattle off every WWE champion right now if you want me to. I'm a
Everyone
psychopath. Every single one.
in order.
In order, absolutely. Well, let's maybe say that for another show, but
Yeah, I mean, because that's where they kind of lost me when they started having to split brands and.
Well, yeah, I'm like the actual WWE champion. The world heavyweight gets kind of kabuki's for me, but yeah. But yeah, I can name it. But anyways, we're getting tied up here because we're talking about Attitude Era and all these champions and whatnot. How they had the championship match. Who's to say AEW doesn't really grow even further after that September date, or even maybe when fans would come back after All Out, whatever, and WWE starts looking around saying, okay, we got to do something here. It could happen. They're now right now, of course, they've took a dive in ratings, but that's just because of their time slot they're in. When they come back in Dynamite, I next Wednesday, I fully expect them to be at full force back to that million plus that they were at, and maybe even more.
Be honest, if we have to be honest, like the whole rating system is so outdated.
I completely agree. Yes,
we have no idea how accurate it is because there are people watching it on a DVR. There are people streaming it. There's just so many other ways to watch it now. Throw that rating system out. Come on, with all of our DVRs, they know exactly. They could count exactly how many people are watching it.
Yep.
Like DirecTV knows their numbers. Right. So you're telling me these other places don't stop. Let's get rid of the Nielsen system or update it and get a more accurate accountability.
This is the new rating system right here. Social media. That's the new one. Now, if you look at that, that's one. I'm not pulling it up right now. All Elite Wrestling's 1.3 million. I'm sure WWE's got a lot more than that. 24.5 million. So yes, you look at that. Even NXT's at 3.1 million. So they do have some growth there, but who's to say? The shows that they've been putting on, it's gonna maybe have to take WWE to be like, okay, maybe I need to see what's going on here.
But here's the difference though. Like WWE has been around for so long, they have more casual followers. Somebody who liked Randy Orton is going to follow it because they sort like AEW. It's probably 1 million. Probably 90% of them are diehard wrestling fans.
Right.
And it's still going to grow. And as soon as they're starting to do appearances on TNT and TBS, as they become more mainstream and people start to see them, it's just going to grow, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. But again, like I said, we were talking about maybe Roman Reigns and maybe how they're going to book him. So you're thinking what? Survivor Series? They do a title for title match?
No, I think Clash of Champions.
Oh, that's soon.
It's coming up in September. That's coming in September. So, I just think I'm tired of every pay-per-view having 4 or 5 title matches, and almost every match on a card is a title match. Like, it's too much. You either got to start going back to the brand split pay-per-views, and they could have more grudge matches on there and more matches just with feuds, or I honestly think I see that they're building up these two monsters to collide with each other. So maybe I'm hoping.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see it. I think there's a lot of money to be made with Roman and a Seth match.
Well, listen, you can still have that after he becomes the unified champion.
I don't know.
There's no reason why that can't happen at Survivor Series.
Yeah. First, you got to turn. I think you got to either turn. You got to turn Seth babyface. You can't have, and that's going to take some time too, because he's doing a good job as a heel too. It's not like he's like you don't need to turn him, but if you're going to go up against Roman, which is going to be a great match, you're going to have to turn him. Or maybe, going back to our original point, fans start cheering. Maybe they just turn Roman babyface. I don't know.
I think they're going to keep Roman bad. I think what? I wouldn't be shocked with fans if Seth gets cheered either because of this character.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, he's so crazy and out there. It's kind of fun. I could see people getting into that.
Right.
I mean, I'm not sure, but Vince isn't feeding us the narrative anymore. He's not controlling what we hear, who we hear getting cheered and booed anymore. It's going to be
Right.
fun coming a little less than a month now, having
Yeah.
fans back. The product is just going to be better than that because the wrestlers are going to be able to feed off of fans again, which we haven't had.
Right.
It's going to be a big difference. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see what happens with Roman and seeing if I'm right and seeing if I'm wrong and to see where this goes.
Yes, same here. And I this past month we're on all wrestling. It's just been this kind of stale, like, hold on, wait. Let's
I'll
get
tell you,
fans
since
back.
Double or Nothing absolutely killed the Thunderdome for me. That I need fans now. I need the fans. That crowd was so lit just watching it on TV. I was like, this is wrestling.
Yes.
And
it's amazing how we get accustomed to the Thunderdome so quickly, but
it's so true.
And I thought they did good with the fan presence at WrestleMania. I mean, it definitely wasn't like Double or Nothing, but I got a little a little teary eyed, going back at WrestleMania. You had Vince come out and just saying, this is home.
I did too. Like, it felt special. I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be great. Like, I was so excited. Like, when Vince did that, I had goose pimples. I got a little teary eyed too.
Mm-hmm.
But and then the card happened, and I'm just going to leave it at
that. Yeah.
I don't.
You weren't too much of a fan of Mania?
No. I mean, I wasn't. Honestly, everything just felt rushed. I enjoyed a couple of matches. I thought Sasha and Bianca was great. The Roman match was really good. I was really disappointed. I think that my other biggest disappointment was Owens and Zayn because they were just rushed. And I think if they were allowed to, they could have stole the whole show.
Yeah.
But they weren't allowed to. And I don't want to, I don't want to shit on that too much.
Right.
So
next year WrestleMania, you still thinking The Rock is the one?
I hope so because I feel like that's the payoff of this whole Roman Reigns story.
Mm-hmm. So. I think it's got to be this year. If it's not this next year, it's not going to happen. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think if it's not this year, it'll never happen. I agree with that.
Because I honestly think I know it's been like kind of said, tossed around, and kind of joked around. But I honestly think The Rock will be gearing up for a presidential run here pretty soon.
Do you really?
I honestly think. I really do because
the people's champion.
Yeah,
it's not going to be the next one because they're going to have Biden.
Yeah,
we're not here to be political, but Biden's going to rerun or Harris if she somehow wins.
But what it's gonna take a lot of time because he's probably going to run for like a senator position maybe or something along those lines. I know you're right, but here's the reason why I say you watch Young Rock. They're getting all of his bad traits out the way. So anything that's come up in his past life, and they're just like, that's just old silly old Dwayne, old Dewey, Yeah. But anyways, I like I said, I think if it's not going to happen next year, it's not going to happen at all. But if we're future booking the Roman versus Rock, I think it'll be a beautiful story. Because you could say, Roman, like, I'm the tribal chief here. You've never enjoyed being with the family. You've always wanted to be like your father. Your father, you never wanted to be part of the family. This and that. Kind of use that, that play into it. And then, maybe even put, Rock's career on the line, and then that'll be it.
Or maybe Rock says, if I don't beat you, I will never, ever
wrestle again.
Yep. So,
it'd be fun. It'd be fun.
We've booked it now. Let's just let it happen. That's what we got hope for. All right. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes. On Instagram at Coming Down the Aisle, on Twitter at @down_aisle. Also, you can catch me on all pretty much every wrestling Facebook group that's out there under my shoot name, John Swallow. And every Wednesday night, the podcast drops. And then actually every month, we're going to have a special bonus episode with you, the OG Fit Kid, and the Ultimate Miles. We're going to do a countdown of some top 10 subject. This month we did Stone Cold Steve Austin, top Stone Cold matches and whatnot. So check us out on all your major platforms.
Yes, and check out the Turnbuckle Tavern
Yes.
on drops every Thursday, the main show. Then we have 2 more shows here. On Monday, we have the Turnbuckle Debate with Chad Sneed and me. And on Wednesday, we have the Turnbuckle Sessions, my show, where I'm interviewing or really discussing. It's more of a discussion with people in and around the wrestling business who love wrestling. It's that simple. Yep. Follow us on Turnbuckle Tavern on Instagram and at Tbuckle Tavern on Twitter. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Bye, Tom.
See you later, John.